everyone, and welcome back to Arsenal Fan Theory. As always, I'm your host, Michael Duplessis. I'm not joined with Reinier tonight because we're doing our second episode of the Premier League show. So tonight I'm joined once again by Spurs fan Reinier. How's it going?
Lucky in you, Brit.
No, it's always good, obviously after such a week that Arsenal has had, I don't have too much to complain. But we always seem to mess things up, so for now I'm happy. Yeah, so I thought let's just jump off with the news coming out of the FA Cup. It's going to be an all London final. It's going to be Arsenal and Chelsea, and it's to me it's becoming a bit of a trend to see those two play in a final once again. I'm hoping for not more of the same of the last season's Europa League final and more like the 27 FA Cup final where Chelsea actually lost to Arsenal on that occasion, and we were crowned the champions that season. So, what are your thoughts on the final, Reinier?
That's going to be an interesting game to watch. I think both teams are in great shape at the moment. Some great confidence coming from both sides. I think after the week that Arsenal has had, it's absolutely immense. I mean, full kudos to them on how they've played, beating Liverpool, having a great weekend as well. I think it's really things are really starting to shape up for Arsenal. In terms of the Chelsea aspect of the match, it's going to be tough. Your defenders are going to have to be switched on 100%. I mean, if you look at what they're currently doing with their attack in terms of Pulisic, that's in immense form. That guy is absolutely on fire. And then also, Giroud scoring some goals. Mason Mount coming in with some great assists, and obviously Willian being the live wire he always is. So your defenders are going to have to be sharped up. But I do think on the type of counter-attacking football that Arsenal is playing, it should be a brilliant game.
No, I completely agree with you, Reinier. And one thing that keeps popping up in my mind, it seems like the Arsenal and Chelsea squads are starting to become a perfect blend, of experienced players and great young talent coming through for the next generation, And not only that, it's two new young managers still trying to instill their ideas onto the club, their values, the type of style they want to play. You know, um, Lampard's already spending quite a few money to actually go after the players that he wants. Arteta
Yeah,
hasn't had the chance yet, but you can definitely see a difference in style of play and mentality around the club. So I do expect a big game going forward.
very true.
So just touching on the final, I thought we would look at the last five results between the two sides. We haven't done anything like that yet on one of our shows, so yeah, let's just kick it off. Obviously, the last game was a 2-2 draw. Luis got sent off on that occasion. It was a Martinelli wonder goal, and I was actually quite happy with the performance. As an Arsenal fan, 2-1 down with 10 men and playing the way that we did, I was happy with the result. Obviously I would have liked to win, but yeah.
Of course. Ah, you know what? Unfortunately, with a player like David Luiz, if he's on his, if he's having a good game, he's going to have a great game. If he has an off day, it's an absolute shambles. So I hope for Arsenal's part that David Luiz could actually pitch, for the game. He's not been too consistent when it comes to the big games. I do think that every time he comes into a big situation, as a final or a semi-final or whatever the case may be, he's always just pitched whenever you like. So if he could come into that game with a great mentality, you guys could actually have a great game because he does have the potential to be that pillar on the defensive side for Arsenal. And I do think it could have been different. The other thing is Martinelli scoring a great goal for the previous game for you guys. I see he's injured at the moment.
Mm.
I don't know if he's going to be, if he's going to be fit for the game coming. I don't
No, it
necessarily
looks like
think
he's
so.
out for the rest of the year. So yeah.
It's quite sad to be honest, but nonetheless, if you look at the type of depth that you guys have in attacking at the moment, it should be quite interesting. Lacazette and Alba's on great form. Saka's doing brilliantly, and it does seem like Pepe is also getting some shape.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think it's going to be a real exciting match. I'm actually excited to see what type of teams we pick for the match. If it's going to
Yeah,
be a blend of the experience and and the youth, but or both managers going to go for what they feel their best starting 11 is on the day. Well, they both would obviously want to win the title, So I think it's going to be more or less than the strongest 11 that they
It's
can
going
bring
to
on
be a
the day.
good one, especially with the type of managing that both managers are bringing. I mean, if, as you said, you touched on the fact that it's two young managers, that's pushing their style of play currently, and it is working for both of them. So it could go either way. It's for the first time in a long time you actually can't say, listen, this is the team that's going to win and this is the underdog. It's actually a precise fit.
Yeah, well, look, if I go to the four previous stats prior to the 2-2 draw, it doesn't make too good reading for Arsenal fans. Uh, Chelsea has had the upper hand over the past few games. We take a look at the 29 December match. Well, last year, 2019, and again, it was when Arteta just started, and I feel we played really well in that game. We were 1-0 ahead, but then we let it slip. What Arsenal does quite a lot. We lost our focus, and the Chelsea capitalized, and they ended
Yeah,
up winning us 2-1. And then before that, it would be I think it was the Europa League final. Was the one before that is when it was not a good night for Arsenal at all. We had high hopes of getting back into the Champions League through the Europa League, but that was very short lived. As soon as the first whistle blew, Chelsea beat us 4-1. You can look before that. So it's the only time Arsenal actually won in the last 5 games. It was on 19 January 19 is when Arsenal walked out 2-0 victors. And the game before that, 18 August 2018, was also 3-2 for Chelsea. So the stats do seem to favour Chelsea a bit. But I must say, I think I'm happy to play Chelsea in the final. I obviously feel they're not as strong as City. United, Chelsea, both great teams. But we have to play one of them. And
yeah,
I feel we can turn a trend. Because if you look at the last FA Cup match we played against Chelsea, it was in the 2017 finals where Arsenal actually walked out victors on that occasion, and we've got a good record in the FA Cup. We've got the best record with trophy wise in the FA Cup. So I'm hoping we can pull it
no,
off.
it is going to be quite a good game. You just have to keep in mind as well that if you look at the previous stats with regards to, let's say, for instance, the Europa League final that you guys played against them, different manager, different players. Hazard was still playing there on his peak form. Not that he's anywhere to be seen today, but yeah, if you keep in mind those type of things are changing. You guys were just coming out of a bad spell with the previous coach, and I do think that with Arteta and the way he's coaching, I really would favour Arsenal in this game, to be very honest with you. If you look at the type, it's obviously going to be a full-on attacking display from Chelsea as they showed against United as well. So it'll be a full-on attacking display from them, but the counter-attacking that Arsenal possesses could just make the difference. But once again, it depends on who actually pitches for the game.
Yeah, well, we can only hope for the best, as an Arsenal fan. But yeah, let's move on. Well, you yourself can't be too unhappy either. It was just another great result for you guys against Leicester. Harry Kane's on red hot form at the moment. It was his second goal was a wonderful goal. And it looks like they might seal that sixth spot. That's also a Europa League spot. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we should necessarily fall out of the top six. I think we'll stay where it is. We are at this moment about 2 points clear of Wolves. So if we could just keep our bearings and just keep on doing what we're doing. I don't know what Mourinho told the players. I don't know how he's actually started to transform them because the last time we actually spoke about Tottenham, they were in a slump, which were about 2 weeks or so ago. So he really managed to turn things around. I know it's just short term. However, if we can keep this type of momentum, maybe do something in the Europa League, we could actually have a great year next year. If you're looking at Premier League and so forth, if Daniel Levi could actually take out some cash, I think we would be able to, to do something.
Yeah, well, look, Mourinho's obviously he's a proven winner. Even though I didn't want him as our manager, and I was quite glad you guys took him. he does seem to win trophies wherever he goes. You know, even when he was at Man United, he didn't have the best of times there, but he still managed to get the Europa League. You know, something that we couldn't do. Yeah, so obviously he does know what he's doing. He's obviously a world class manager, and I think he obviously it seems like he already knows who he does like and who he doesn't like in the side. So with some backing from the board, I believe he can do well for Spurs next season and going forward.
Definitely. It all
Yeah,
depends on the type of form that you go into it with. But yes,
yeah.
I'm
Well,
positive about it.
like we keep saying on the show, football's a very short term sport. You know, you tend to base your feelings around the club and how it's going on the last game or the last few games how it's been going. So that's obviously why I'm happy after beating Liverpool and City in 1 week. You know, but if you take
Yeah.
the week before, I wasn't happy at all. You know.
Yeah, that's it, Chinese things.
Yeah, well, let's move to who we think are gonna make. You know, third is still maybe up for grabs. Fourth definitely up for grabs, and fifth and sixth. You know, Chelsea currently sit in third. You know, they have 2 games left, but those 2 games are Liverpool and Wolves. You know, it's very possible that they could drop all 6 points there. You know, Leicester sit in fourth. They only have 1 game left, which is Man United. It's obviously going to be a big match for
It'll be
that
a great game.
for that Champions League spot. Well, in my opinion, you know, Spurs sit in sixth. You know, if Leicester drop the points, well, uh, Spurs can't get to fourth, you know, but Spurs can get it. Well, Spurs can get up. Well, stay sixth. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
With a win over Palace, you know, then if they win Palace, then nobody's catching them in sixth place. Wolves, Wolves can actually
yeah.
still.
If you look at the current standings, Michael, I do think.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, man. The the signal's a bit bad at the moment. So what I'm saying is, if you look at the current standings, I can't see too much changing. It should stay around about the same. The only spot that could change, in my opinion, as a potential changer, is the live spot between 4 and 5 on United and Leicester. I do think United would probably just edge them with the type of form they're in for the last few games. I mean, their strikers have been immense. Mason Greenwood has been something of a class breakthrough, and that's going to be an interesting battle to see with the last game or two that's left.
So you think United's going to grab that fourth spot? You know, I actually agree with you that I think things are going to stay more or less the same because obviously mathematically there can quite a few changes still be made. But I don't think it's going to happen. You know, I think Spurs would hold on against Palace the way they've performed now over the last few weeks as well. United, like you
Definitely.
mentioned, is on red hot form, but I can actually see them maybe overtaking Chelsea into third place. You know, because Liverpool and Wolves are going to be big games. You know, obviously Liverpool are the champions. They're always difficult to play against, and Wolves they're also going to try and be fighting around for that Europa League spots. You know, so they're also going to come out fighting. So I might actually expect to see a change. United going third, and actually Chelsea and Leicester battling out for that fourth spot. But I do think that Leicester will probably miss out and end up in fifth.
It would be a sad day, but I do think it's a possibility, definitely.
You know, I don't know if it's such a sad day. You know, obviously I'm not the biggest Man United and Chelsea supporter, but you know, Leicester if they don't play Champions League football, yeah, I can see things not going as well for them next season. I can see because they've got some big players, you know, that would want to play Champions League football, so they
No,
might look to move in different directions. You know, let's go on to the next topic. You know, it's big news from the championship coming through as well. Leeds have been crowned champions and they've obviously been promoted. You know, what do you expect to see from Leeds next season?
yeah, I feel that yeah, I've never been a very big Leeds fan, to be honest. Don't necessarily like them too much. I am not a great fan of Bielsa. I know he's a brilliant coach, and I've got a lot of respect for him with regards to what is managed to accomplish in his career. Um, However, I'm not too big of his, his way of doing things. If you look at the manner in which he coaches, in terms of the whole speculation and everything that went on about sending spies and so forth, it's funny story if you think about it. I'm just not a fan of that type of work. So I feel there's a very big hype going around with regards to Leeds and the new season that they're going into, but I don't expect to see too much from them, to be honest.
Well, I think obviously the whole Leeds would disagree with you. No, they seem to be a very big fan of Bielsa. And like you said, he's been lauded by many, many managers before as actually being the best manager in the world. I actually know Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta has come out and say that before. There's been
Yeah,
quite a few other managers, but I can't remember them right now. And I actually remember our FA Cup game against Leeds. We ended up winning 1-0, but they played some really attractive football. They looked like they
they
belonged
do.
playing against the big team. So I do expect to see them coming out with quite a lot of fight next season. I don't see them getting relegated, but I also don't think they're going to cause too many upsets in terms of finishing high up in the Premier League.
That's very true. But once again, Mike, you have to look at the facts of spending money. Any team can come into the Premier League with a big hype, but I mean, Norwich did brilliant, in their championship season before they came, actually started in the Premier League, and they spent what, like 700 or 600,000 pounds. So if the club's not going to spend money, you can't expect them to stay inside. I think if they spend at least about 30 to 40 million pounds, they could be a mid-table side. Um, Not necessarily being relegated if they don't. However, it will be a battle for relegation. So probably mid-lower table there around.
Yeah, well, you look at spending, per se, Aston Villa are a great example. They spent over £100 million in the transfer window when they just got promoted, and it doesn't seem to have worked out for them. So I agree that they do need to
Yeah,
spend money, but
unfortunately not.
if you don't spend your money wisely, it's not going to work. With a few good loan signings, even or a little bit of uncut gems. We turned Guendouzi from a 7 million player to probably a 30 million player in the space of 2 seasons. Gabriel Martinelli, we bought him for very cheap, and he looks to be an absolute steal. So it's obviously a lot goes more to the recruitment, I think, than the amount of money being spent. But yeah, like I said,
Very true.
the way they played in our FA Cup match, I really like the way they played. So I'm hoping actually to see good things from them. There are other sides I'd rather see get relegated, like Watford or something like that. Hi everyone, sorry about that. We've just been experiencing some technical difficulties. So I'm just gonna pick up where I feel we left off, or where I think we the connection got lost. So I was talking about the comparison about spending to recruitment. If Leeds recruitment is right, then I obviously think they'll do well. And like I said, I really like their football, and I actually hope to see good things from them in the Prem next season.
Yeah, they should keep things interesting in the league. I think if as you said, recruitment's going to be key. So if they do recruit well, you should probably see a Wolves type of side within Leeds. That type of fire. It's not an easy game to go and play at the Molineux. So it could be that type of vibe that you do see coming through from Leeds. And you'd hope that's the case. But like I said, I'm not a big fan, so I wouldn't mind if they do get relegated.
Yeah, well, okay. Let's move on to the next part, or well, the last part of the show. Let's look at three games again, and then give our score predictions. For match week 37, I've picked out Liverpool and Chelsea. I think it's going to be a big match. Obviously, like I said, uh, I think Chelsea is going to have to win this one if they want to end up third, and secure their safety in the top four. But Liverpool's obviously going to come out fighting, even though they already won.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. In that game in specific, I would say I think Chelsea's going to pull it through. Liverpool just hasn't been on the ball since they got the title. I mean, the type of football they played, the rookie mistakes that they make, their heads are not there. It's already celebrating time, and I do think Chelsea should pull it through. It's just more important for Chelsea to pull it through.
Well, I agree with you. It's probably a bit more important for Chelsea to pull it through, but I disagree. I think Liverpool's gonna win this one. Even though the results haven't been going their way and they have made some mistakes, they overall I feel they've been playing really good football still. Obviously they are a bit in vacation mode. They've been already won the title, but from what I've seen, they've played really good football. So I would probably go with the 3-1 win for Liverpool. What's your score prediction?
Yeah, I'd rather go for a 2-1 to Chelsea.
2-1 to Chelsea. So just to remind you, it's at Anfield this match. So you can
It's
change
all
that.
right. There's no crowd.
All right. Like I said, Manu on red hot form. They obviously want to secure Champions League football, not only play Europa League football. So I think obviously they're going to come out firing. West Ham have been playing well. Their players have been scoring goals well. Mikel Antonio, and obviously with the win, they also definitely secure playing in the Premier League next season. And
Yeah,
I expect them also to play with everything they got. They still got a point to prove to themselves, and their fans.
definitely. Yeah, if you look at a score prediction between United and West Ham, I do think that United will just have too much, in the tank for West Ham to handle. Apart from that, they need to play Champions League again. So I'd probably see United going through. They would probably beat it at about 3-0.
You know. Yeah, well, I agree with you. That United is going to have too much for West Ham. Saying everything that I have, that West Ham's been on form and playing well. Man United have been playing very well. As long as Bruno Fernandes and Pogba partnership keeps up in the midfield, I can see them start winning a lot more games. So I'm going to go with
Definitely.
another 3-1 win for Man United. All right, and then the final game is another big match. In Wolves is hope for Champions League or Europa League football. Well, obviously they're not going to end up fourth, but they're going for that fifth or sixth position. But I also feel they're going to have too much for Palace on this occasion. I'm not going to go with a 3-1 again. I think it's going to be a bit lower. I think Wolves would probably come out 2-0 is what I would say.
No, I agree 100% with you. I think it'll be a 2-0 for Wolves. Shouldn't be too hard. Palace, yeah, they just haven't shown anything significant. I think without Wilfred Zaha, they've probably been in relegation spots. He has saved a lot of games for them. So, yeah, probably a 2-0 to Wolves.
That's actually another interesting topic that we can quickly touch on right before we end the show. Do you expect to see Wilfred Zaha in the Palace shirt again next season? Because I agree with you. If it wasn't for him, they would be struggling a lot more in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think it's all going to depend on the club, meaning Crystal Palace now, because if you look at the previous signs of wanting to buy Zaha, I mean, there was a lot of teams actually in for him. Now, just keep in mind, Zaha is already turning 28, so he's not that young anymore, which means he's in his peak year already. He should have about 2 years of peak left, unless he's, one of those magnificent players that does actually over 30 keep progressing. So the type of valuation that Crystal Palace have put on him in the past 2 years that teams have tried to scoop him up was something in the region of 70, 80 million. So, it's a ridiculous amount of money. So I do think his age is counting a bit against him. Obviously, the form hasn't, the age hasn't done anything to his form. He's been playing brilliantly. So it's all going to be about if the teams are in a financial capacity to pay that type of amount for Zaha, then I do see him leaving. If any team is willing to do that, then he will leave, definitely.
It looks quite clear to me that it's been quite a while that Zaha's been wanting out of Palace. He's been linked to Arsenal for quite a few seasons. He was actually one of the players that I would have liked to see in an Arsenal shirt. But I'm actually
Mm.
glad we got Nicolas Pepe. You know, uh, he's got 19 goal contributions in his first season, you know, and with that price tag, you do expect a bit more probably. But obviously, it's only his first season in England, you know, he's still getting used to, and he already played under three different managers in his first season, you know. But
Yeah, no, does make a big difference.
yeah, no, and obviously, I feel we needed a right winger much more than we needed a left winger. You know, we seem to be playing Alba on the left wing most of the games, and even if he doesn't play, you know, we've got Saka or Martinelli that can fill that left wing role. They're both youngsters, but I feel
Full in the
they,
position.
they can definitely fill in the position. Yeah, so I
But
see
answering the question, what do you think?
I see Zaha pushing for a move. You know, I'd actually like to see him at a big club, see how he would perform there. And you know, I feel that Palace fans would also actually like to see how we would do at a big club. You know,
Yeah,
obviously, like I said, it's all down to Palace because it looks like Zaha has been pushing for a move for quite a while. But I wouldn't
yes,
be too surprised to see him even hand in a transfer request. So I think he might do
definitely.
that as well. Well, Reinier, that's it for our second episode. Again, we had some technical difficulties, you know, but hopefully we only get better and better every week, you know, create better content, and obviously, hopefully things can start running a bit more smoother as we go on. But I just want to thank you once again for coming on the show. You know, it's always a joy to have a little bit of a football chat with you.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. And thank you to all the viewers. We appreciate you as well. And please keep on sharing and liking.
Yeah, remember Arsenal Fan Theory on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, and then at Theory Arsenal on on Twitter. Sorry about that. All right, cheers, guys.
Cheers.